Hello, hello. This is the My Artifact episode number 3675. Today's date is um wait. Okay, tomorrow is a rain, precipitation. Okay, that is not good. All right, yeah. What I'm trying to tell you. Okay, yeah. All right. So today's date is the 29th of October 2025. It's been almost like a night at 9:37 p.m. All right. Right now there is a rain is actually happening. Okay, yeah. And by the way, this rain is a good news rain. Okay, yeah. What's the good news rain? Like basically, is this thing now when the rain is actually come in October and November, specifically in October, at late October, things like that, usually consider as a kind of like actually beginning of winter. Okay, yeah. Because after this rain, the temperature will drop down drastically, like legitly drop down. Okay, yeah. Like today's temperature is almost like a 22. Wait, let me check it out. Okay, so today's weather is a 26 degrees Celsius. Okay, yeah. Tomorrow is a rain. That means almost like a 23, then 25, 5 days of forecast. So probably it went to 23, 22, 22 degrees Celsius. Okay, yeah. So which is kind of like a something really good weather. Okay, yeah. By the way, I'm belong to India, so consider this weather is a kind of like a very pleasant. Okay. If you are kind of like living in US and Europe, probably it's kind of like a very even more colder for you. So that means this weather is not pleasing thing for you, but for us it's kind of like a very much pleasing. Okay, yeah, because in winter it's little bit cold, little bit nice, little bit not that much warm. Okay, yeah. All right. And by the way, I also like rain too. Yeah, it's not like that I don't like the rain. I like the rain, yes. Yeah, every time there is a rain happen, I just get wet every single time. Intentionally and unintentionally too. Okay, yeah. Whatever. Let's just jump into the question. Okay, yeah. Let's go. Let's right into it question. Okay, so question is, what if human had no capacity for jealousy? Oh, that's a really good question. Okay, yeah. What if like a human won't be able to jealous or things like that? Whatever. Okay, first of all, what is actually this question and why am I asking this question to myself? This is what if question. Why am I asking this question to myself? What if question is always really interested way to give the answer. It kind of like force you to think about that reality regarding about the question that it asks. Okay, yeah. When I try to create that reality, it really required kind of like a imagination and knowledge. Okay, yeah. So when I try to, so disclaimer. Okay, yeah. So whatever I say, okay, yeah, it's not exactly right or it's not exactly wrong either. It's just my opinion. It's completely wrong. It's completely unfiltered. Okay, yeah. So if you need any kind of like information, go to the internet. Things at all. Don't believe what I just say. It's just my opinion. Okay. All right. So let's go. Let's proceed. Okay. Yeah. Now the question is that what if a human had a no capacity of jealousy, or like a human, like basically what if we can't do jealous? Okay, yeah. First of all, what is actually jealous? A jealous is a emotion. Okay, yeah. We being jealous by something. Now, is jealous is a good thing or bad thing? Well, from perspective, okay, yeah, it is kind of like a really bad thing, but I didn't really consider as a bad thing. Jealousy, from the kind of like a universal point of perspective, people might gonna say that ki jealousy is a wrong thing, but I didn't really believe that. I believe that ki jealousy is a really good thing. Okay, because it add value. I'm not really sure about other people, but because of jealousy, yes, I had jealous. Like I am kind of like jealous of somebody or something. Okay, yeah, and because of I jealous, I kind of like simply get lot of values. I kind of like ask question to myself that why those person are selected and why not me. Okay, yeah, what kind of like some stuff is actually wrong in me, so that's why I kind of like actually make sure that I'm kind of like simply became more valuable or something like that. I try to push myself to even much more better. So basically jealousy is not a bad thing, at least not for me. Probably it might be for you, but it's not for me. it always kind of like push me to kind of like do little bit better and things like that. And if I'm kind of like looking at from every point of perspective, okay, yeah, jealousy is not a bad thing too. Okay, yeah, like from every point of perspective, let's just say societal point of perspective, which is also really good thing. Okay, let me give you context. Okay, yeah, let's just say that ki your neighbor buy a new car. Let's just say your neighbor bought the SUV car. Okay, you have a sedan. Okay, or maybe kind of like you don't really have a car. Okay, yeah. Now, because of you jealous of your neighbor and you bought the SUV car. Okay, yeah. Now, because of this thing, now this decision is kind of like a very impulsive, and you took this decision regarding about jealousy. Okay, yeah. Now you have this SUV. Okay, yeah. Your neighbor has SUV, you have a SUV. Okay, yeah. Now, basically, for you, because of this jealousy, you kind of like bought this car that you don't really need it, but still you buy this car. Now you have to kind of like pay the EMI or kind of like a loan or things or that and that. Okay, yeah. Now you pay that thing because you bought the car, so like basically you have to pay the debt. Okay, yeah. This is not a kind of like any choice that you have. You just kind of like bought the car, so you just have to pay the price. Okay, yeah. Now because of this thing, you kind of like simply try to limit your expenses, or maybe kind of like a things that key you are kind of like a saving some sort of amount of money to kind of like a simply paid for EMI or things like that, right? Yeah. Now this is the one good thing. Another good thing is that because you bought this car, like basically whatever the car, whoever, let's just say that like basically you bought this SUV car, that SUV car from Tata company. Okay, yeah. So whoever the people who make this car, they get a kind of like some sort of amount of money as a salary or things like that. Like there is some sort of people who kind of like a work for this car to make. Okay, yeah. And indirectly or directly, I don't know, but you kind of like a paid money to them. Okay, yeah. And because of the money you paid to them, they kind of like survive. They kind of like assembly living their life. They kind of like assembly spending. They get, kind of like get the salary because of you bought his car and stuff like that. So basically, what exactly happened? Okay, yeah, that key because of jealousy you bought this car that you don't really need it, but somehow because of this you bought the car. It kind of like assembly add economy to the surrounding, to the kind of like a society, and because of this you spend some sort of amount of money to buy this car. Those money will kind of like spend on kind of like some people who actually make the car, or kind of like a indirectly, yeah, like basically not directly but indirectly, right? So this is what it is. Yeah, so it's just like that na, ki sometimes jealousy is a kind of like a really good thing. I'm gonna tell you my real life experience. Okay, I was in the job. Okay, I was kind of like a somebody CAD modeler, computer aided design modeler, CAD modeler. Okay, I'm really proud to say that thing. Why, I'm not really sure. Whatever. Okay, yeah. So I was joined at December 2017. Well, I'm starting from 2018. Yeah, like basically since 2018, I kind of like joined this company. Okay, yeah. Now I join as a kind of like assembly, a kind of like assembly contractor base. Now what's a contractor base? A contractor base means like that ki as a company who kind of like assembly join a kind of like a hire couple of people, not a kind of like assembly employee of the company, as a kind of like assembly a contractor base. Now what's a contractor base? A contractor base means like that the company actually join hire a couple of people as a contractor base. Okay, yeah, they kind of like assembly in the contractor base is a kind of like assembly is this thing, the people who are not permanent. Okay, yeah, they are not getting benefit as a kind of like assembly employee. No, you are kind of like getting just a salary and that's it. Okay, yeah. So what exactly is this thing? What exactly this contractor means? A contractor means like that a company cannot afford to get the employee every single time, and also they are not really sure that the employee who is kind of like a hiring, that employee will kind of like simply sustain for almost like a 4, 5 or 10 year. Okay, yeah. So they wanted to make sure that whoever the person wanted to hire should supposed to be stay with us for almost like a 5 year. Okay, yeah. Now it's very hard to decide. It's very hard to kind of like define that which employee are kind of like something like that will gonna stick with us. Okay, so company what they do is that they kind of like do as a contract sign. Okay, So what does the contract? So the contract is about kind of like a 2 year of contract. Okay, yeah. So whoever the people who hire the company will join as a first as a contract base. Okay, yeah. So in the contract base, the people who actually work in that particular company for 2 year, even if that employee kind of like leave the office, okay, yeah, company didn't really get that much losses because of that key. That particular person is on contract base. Okay, yeah. So he doesn't really have any pension fund. He doesn't really have any kind of like a provision fund. He doesn't really have any kind of like insurance. Nothing really at all. Okay, yeah. For a 2 year, after a 2 year, the contract base is over, and now that particular person wanted to stay in that company. That particular person will kind of like consider as an employee, will become a permanent. Okay, right? So this is called kind of like a contract base. I'm not really sure about this actually happened in another country, but it's actually happened in India. Okay, that is called contract based job. Okay, yeah. A contract base, like you actually sign the contract to the company that I will kind of like only work for your company for almost like a 2 year, and then after that I will join as a kind of like a full permanent employee. Okay, yeah. Now I kind of like only started kind of like a company for almost like a 2018. Okay, yeah, 2018, and basically my contract was almost like a 1 year of contract. Okay, yeah. Like it's kind of like a depend on 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, वगैरह वगैरह वगैरह. My contract was 1 year. Okay, yeah. So basically, in the contract, if I kind of like simply stay in that company for 1 year, and then after that I wanted to continue with that company, so I will become as a permanent. Okay, yeah. But what exactly happened? Okay, yeah. With me, there are almost like a 2-3 people actually join. Okay, like when I was join, with me there are almost like a 2 people actually join. So that means almost like a 3 people actually join. Okay, yeah, with me. Okay, in that particular period of time. Okay, means like that ki in December 2017, me and also 2 people are actually joined in that particular company. Okay, yeah. Now basically what exactly happened? Okay, yeah. 1 year is gone. Okay, yeah. I never get permanent. Okay, the people who kind of like somebody join with me, they got permanent. Okay, I didn't got the permanent. The people who join after me, they also got the permanent too, but I didn't get permanent. Yeah. So I was like a really like a fucked up, like what exactly is this thing? Like I was like not really sure, because it's this thing that na ki I was realized that ki what exactly is this happened? Okay, yeah. What exactly is this my life? Like basically I'm putting a lot of effort of everything. Like I'm spending almost like a 8 hour, 10 hour, 12 hour for this company, for everything. And I was kind of like somebody just not getting like basically the people who get permanent who are not really even qualified. Okay, yeah, they are got permanent too, and I didn't get permanent. I was have a jealousy, but another thing is that I was kind of like somebody like I don't know what exactly happened. It just like very fucked up situation. Okay, yeah. Then I realized myself. Okay, yeah, that they didn't really make me permanent is because of that they saw some sort of thing that is not good in me. Okay, yeah. So I try to evaluate myself that what exactly I did wrong. Okay, yeah. Now I realize what exactly I did wrong. Okay, yeah. So when I was joined the company, okay, yeah, I was kind of like considered as like basically in the company, in that particular people, in that particular group of the company, those are people are kind of like assembly like-minded people. Like-minded means like it. Like most of the people who are in that particular working in that particular company are same age range. Okay, yeah, exactly like basically 2-3 year maybe like up and down, but those are kind of like a same age range. Okay, now I am kind of like a bit really frank with those people. Okay, yeah. I consider myself ki these are kind of like a simply my friend, and I just kind of like a simply just act like a friend. Okay, yeah. Now what I'm trying to tell you, what is the actually meaning of this? Like basically is this thing, your office colleague and your friend is kind of like a two different relation. Okay, yeah. Your friend means like that ki you can talk, you can blunt it out, you can kind of like assembly do a lot of kind of like assembly stupid stuff. It's yeah, okay. But with your office colleague, there is a completely different thing, because your office colleague is might be very different, because in office colleague, those are people are not friend. Like I realize that. Okay, it's not really that ki I'm kind of like a blaming that ki they're not friend. Like basically what I'm trying to tell you is this thing that ki my behavior was kind of like a too friendly, too much friendly, and that is not good. Okay, yeah. I kind of like simply became as a kind of like simply joker and things like that. like the way that I do, and the way that I kind of like simply work and things like that, and way that I kind of like simply be fun and be kind of like simply just like that, a kind of like a simply like I was kind of like simply such a person that ki someone kind of like simply make fun of me, and I was kind of like simply being really laugh at that. Okay, yeah. It is that. Like I was that kind of like a person. I was really fucked up person. I was not really like, I don't know. My behavior was kind of like completely wrong and things like that. Another thing is that I was not really good at that. I was not really good at designing. Like I am kind of like simply doing really hard work to kind of like do my design and stuff like that. But yes, I make kind of like a little bit mistakes too. Okay, yeah. And my mistakes get highlighted and very vividly highlighted. And that kind of like simply just like basically what is really is this thing na ki when you are kind of like a work in corporate sector or in private sector, your performance is kind of like a depend upon how much you kind of like assembly, how much you will stay in that particular company or not. Okay, yeah. So basically is this thing na ki like I was really fucked, really fucked. Like the way that I interact with those people, the way that I talk with those people, the way like I don't know, I was kind of like suddenly became a joker and things like that. Okay, yeah. So the office people didn't really consider me as a kind of like a somebody is this thing that this person is kind of like a somebody a valuable asset for the company. So don't make him permanent. So they didn't really make me permanent. Yeah, like basically the people who join after a year, they got permanent. Like people who actually join in 2019, they got permanent. But the person I joined in 2018, I didn't really got permanent. Like I still kind of like feel little bit of like yeah. And I was like, this is kind of like only one of the biggest mistake that I did. But I learned from it a lot. Like basically, how do I supposed to kind of like talk to the people? How do I supposed to like basically is this thing na ki I understand how do I supposed to execute my value to the others. Like what I'm trying to tell you is this thing na ki I realize different kind of people, you have to act very differently. You shouldn't supposed to be act same all the time. Okay, yeah. The whatever the way that you act with your friend, you shouldn't supposed to be act like ask this question to yourself. Like basically ask honestly. Okay, yeah. You kind of like a say lot of stuff like a way that you act with your friend. Do you act similarly with your parents? No, definitely not. Okay, yeah. We have respect for our parents, and the way that we show our face to our parents is kind of like a somebody adorable, or kind of like a somebody is this thing that keep yeah. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? Okay, our face is kind of like a very different. It change according to the perspective, it change according to the people who are interact with it. When we are interact with a friend, we are kind of like a blunt and things and that. When we are with the family, then we are make sure that we shouldn't supposed to say any kind of like a wrong thing and stuff like that. Okay, yeah. Same thing happened with the office colleague. You have to make sure that you have to be kind of like a said, sir, good morning, sir, how are you, sir? Then probably kind of like a talk with the kind of like a be respected and things like that. Okay, yeah. Those are not your friend. Those are kind of like office colleagues. So act like that. Okay, yeah. So this is what I understand. I realize that very different kind of people and different kind of people have to interact very differently. Okay, and that is true, by the way. Even if like a whoever gonna people gonna say that you know, like you have to be kind of like a stay true to yourself and kind of like a show your true face to everyone and things and that. Well, basically it's up to you. It's subject to choice. Okay, yeah. I kind of like only face the consequences. So I'm gonna make sure that the way that I act with my friends, I shouldn't supposed to be act like other. Okay, yeah. Like basically I'm gonna make sure that there is a professional and personal life is kind of like a bit more different. Okay, yeah. And I don't want to mix both of them. Nothing really at all. So this is what I think. And somewhat something these are kind of like a happen is because of jealousy, is because of kind of like a small failure and things like that. Because of jealousy, I kind of like a small analyze myself that key what is actually wrong happened in me and try to fix that mistake inside of me. Right? So yeah. So for me, jealousy is kind of like a work really good for me. It's kind of like a I analyze myself to every possible perspective that what kind of like a went wrong, how do I supposed to kind of like a fix it that. Okay. But still, okay, not having jealousy is something that keep something really good consequences too. Okay, yeah. But I don't know, dude, yeah. Like, basically, is this thing not having jealousy? Like, okay, you are angry. You think that you are angry, and because of you are angry, there is a kind of like a lot of bad consequences happen to you, right? Okay, if you think that you are angry, and because of I am angry, I'm kind of like a create such a consequences that kind of like a simply went to wrong, went to kind of like a bad or things like that. Okay, yeah. So what do you do? Should you not eliminate that much anger, or should you not execute your anger, or what I do? Don't do anything at all. Proud who you are. Okay, if you are angry, angry, that is good. Okay, yeah, accept yourself that you are angry. Okay, yeah, and basically just try to control little bit anger, or execute the anger where it wants to. Like, basically is this thing, sometimes anger is very much essential too. Like, basically, let me give you context. Okay, yeah, Virat Kohli is a very angry person, very very angry person. Okay, yeah, but Virat Kohli convert his anger into action, and because of he convert this thing, he kind of like hit the century, and he became one of the one of the greatest batsmen, cricket batsmen in the world. Why? Because of he convert his anger into action. So don't really kind of like consider that, don't really consider yourself that he kind of like a I have anger, so I'm not really good at that and things like that. No, nothing like at all. Same thing happened with the jealousy. If you are kind of like a jealous about some certain thing, convert that jealousy into some sort of actions, convert that action into some sort of kind of like gain value or things like that. It definitely gonna add value, dude. Like, basically is this thing, our emotions are always meant to be some sort of thing. And another thing, okay, yeah, if you have anger, it kind of like a simply creates a kind of like a some sort of surrounding situation that kind of like a matter to somebody. Okay, yeah, let me give you context. Okay, yeah, you are angry. Okay, yeah, now people consider you are angry, you are thinking that you are angry too. Okay, yeah, that is cool, but you are create another persona. That persona, because of you are angry, people will might gonna scared at you, because of you are kind of like so much angry or things or that or stuff like that. It also gonna add value in some sort of like a, basically in somewhat something, it is kind of like add value inside of you, or maybe something that people might gonna scared. It's not really good thing, but somewhat it kind of like add. I don't know how do I supposed to explain this thing. Okay, so don't really consider that you are jealousy, or I am kind of like a bitterly jealous, so I'm not really good, or maybe I'm bitterly angry, so I'm not really good. That is not. Your emotions are meant to be you are. This is your personality. Accept this thing first. Accept this thing. If you are angry, consider yourself you are angry. Okay, yeah. Convert this whatever emotion that you have into action. Like, basically, I am a calm person. I didn't really get that much angry. And basically because of I'm very calm person, so I'm became very much boring. Yeah, literally, I'm very much boring person. Okay, like, basically in reality, if you kind of like talk to me, I'm kind of like very much boring. And I realize that because I seen a lot of people who are kind of like really good at kind of like somebody talk, and I'm not really good at that. Yeah, I could like basically I am actually talking to you right now in this artifact episode because I'm because of I'm kind of like a literally get freedom to kind of like say whatever I wanted to say, right? But when I'm kind of like a talk with the other people, I'm kind of I'm not really fumble, but I'm kind of like somebody is this thing that key not good at that. Okay, yeah, like, basically I'm trying to fixing my communication skill as much as I want, but still is this thing that I was really very fucked up, dude. My communication skill was really bad, really bad. Okay, yeah, and I work on it. I kind of like a work on it for kind of like assembly, the way that I talk, the way that I interact with the people and stuff like that. So what I'm trying to tell you, what exactly is this thing? Okay, yeah, without jealousy, how would be that world? Like, if I could imagine that without jealousy, what would be that world? Without jealousy, like basically, if I'm gonna imagine that a colorful image, a colorful painting which has multiple color. Okay, yeah, let's just say rainbow. Okay, if I paint the rainbow has a multiple colors. Okay, yeah, what if there is a color, like what if there is a rainbow in black and white. Do you like rainbow in black and white? Definitely not. Okay, the rainbow is kind of like considered as a very colorful thought process. Okay, yeah, it comes with a red color, orange color, yellow, green, everything. Okay, which creates the whole image very beautiful, and which is a true sense of life. Okay, yeah, life is not meant to be correct, or life is not meant to be perfect. Life is meant to be just I don't know what exactly is this. I don't know. Okay, yeah. But I don't really consider as a jealousy or anger or any kind of like a things are bad or things or that. No. Definitely not. Okay, yeah. If we are not jealous, might be our relationship became something really good, or like honesty and trust and things and that and that. But still, there is a kind of like a somebody the spiciness, the like basically the when in the relationship there is some sort of spiciness, there is a kind of like some sort of that key, like a not good stuff is kind of like add value. When we kind of like a fight with your partner, okay, yeah, okay, obviously that is wrong, but sometimes after you fight, when you kind of like a merge and when you kind of like a talk to her and things like that, your bond became so much stronger. What I'm trying to tell you is this thing, whatever you love to eat, it comes from multiple spices, some of the sweet, some of the sorrow, some of the multiple taste, and that sweet taste is kind of like a really good in our life. Do not consider as a kind of like a somebody is this thing that being jealous is a not good thing or being angry is not good thing. That is definitely not. Accept who you are and what you are person, and just like, yeah, make sure that ki like obviously is this thing that ki those are things are obviously somewhat something is wrong. Yeah, like you cannot kind of like a showcase anger every single time, you cannot be jealous all the time. Okay, yeah, make sure that convert those kind of like some emotion into the action. Okay, yeah, or maybe kind of like some add value with those emotions, because yeah, it is, I don't know how do I supposed to explain this stuff, but you actually experience this thing in your life. You just look at inside of your life, there is a kind of like some sort of event that you realize that ki, those are emotions are really wrong, but still it gonna add value. Like basically I do lie too, like basically lying is a kind of like a somebody that ki, I do that too. Okay, yeah, now is it bad? Obviously it's bad, but like basically do I like basically I'm trying to make sure try to less lie, but still I lie. Okay, yeah, and it's somewhat something that is matter. Like basically I didn't lie like every single time, no, I just lie when it's necessary. Okay, so yeah, like I'm not kind of like a giving any kind of like a bad influence to you, nothing like at all. Okay, obviously this is your emotion, this is your thought process, this is what you want. Okay, yeah, but do not consider yourself as a kind of like a wrong person, no. Okay, yeah, or if you have any kind of like any kind of like some emotions or anger or things or that, blunt it out in your artifact. Okay, yeah, blunt it out, like basically talk to yourself and blunt it out everything, like say it some sort of kind of like a not good stuff, just do it. It kind of like somebody feel really good, probably, I'm not really sure. Okay, all right, so this is it, I should supposed to be end here. Okay, and thank you.